Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. Hope you're doing well today. I'm just hanging out at the pool and thought I'd do a live stream. This is a most convenient time, I think, for me to do it, at least lately. It's either in the sauna or by the pool or in my office. And I've been really busy lately, so I haven't had a chance to do many whiteboard videos or anything like that. But you know, one of the things that when you're at the pool is really obvious are all the hormone problems. I mean, it really is a significant epidemic. All the hormonal imbalances that are not only affecting men, but not only affecting women, but also affecting men. And it's very obvious and easily identifiable to see this whenever you see the man bod, or as it's so often termed or called, or the gynecomastia, which is the male breasts that are feminine-like, and it's just a very common thing. And the thing that I see, and if you guys follow me much, I talk about this quite a bit. The same mechanisms that are creating these breasts in men, like female-like characteristics in men, are creating testosterone-like characteristics in women, or male-like characteristics in women, and driving up testosterone. And it comes down to, at the most core aspect, the most core basic component of it is it's all really inflammation. It's related to inflammation and blood sugar fluctuation. And so I see a lot of these guys out here that are they're obese, and I'm not trying to judge them. I want you guys to know that, but I'm making observation that this epidemic, just huge problem. There are significant obesity, and then there's also most of these guys are drinking beer. They're drinking a beer, and listen, I'm not judging you if you're drinking beer. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, if you have hormonal problems, you're sitting there, you're pumping in something. Number one, if it contains gluten, and most of them do, unless it's a special type of beer that's gluten-free, then you're going to be consuming lots of sugar that's going to spike your insulin. It's going to promote blood sugar dysregulation. It's going to promote conversion in men of your testosterone to your estrogens, and so that creates that dysglycemia, or that spike and dip in blood sugar. And then the second thing is that the gluten that's contained in there is inflammatory for a lot of people. So you could be pushing an inflammatory problem. You may be promoting autoimmunity. And if it's thyroid autoimmunity and Hashimoto's, then you may actually be promoting destruction and decreasing the capacity of your body to make thyroid hormone. So this there are so many hormonal problems. I just look around and I see it everywhere. It's even some of these men. It's kind of strange. I notice it more with men. They come out here. You're going to go to the pool, right? You're going to go to the pool. They come out here and they smell like they just sprayed enough cologne on, like they're going to a wedding or something, like you would expect. I don't know. They were really overdoing it. And so if you guys don't know this, when you start look at hormone disrupting, health and beauty aids, the number one thing is going to be fragrances. It's going to be the fragrances. Your deodorant, your perfume is a major source of these problems. Hey Christine, hope you're doing well. So it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. And so this comes down to this other issue. You guys might have seen in the comments. Hey Crystal, you might have seen in the comment or in the description. Some of the things that are on my mind are, it's like man bod and the hormonal dysregulation, the hormonal problems that lead to that. But also it's this man bod. Also, a lot of these guys, and there's a lot of women here that are obese as well, but they have an increase in adipose tissue or fat around their abdomen. So do you guys know what VAT is? It's an acronym. Do you know what VAT means? VAT? Anyone know what VAT means, guys? Because that's what I want to talk about next, because it's a directly connected component here. And so VAT is an acronym for visceral adipose tissue. Okay, so it's the fat that surrounds your organs. It's the abdominal obesity. It's kind of like, the hard fat, so to speak. Like you've seen men that, like, they don't have like the you can't really pinch it, but it's like their belly's really distended. It's like the beer belly, like a lot of men will have, and you'll press on it, and it's really hard, but it's obviously something's not right, right? So what that is that's an increase in fat behind the rectus abdominis, behind the abdominal wall. So instead of it being this subcutaneous or below the skin, it's actually around the organs and behind the muscles. So the problem with that fat is that's the bad fat. That's the fat that predisposes you to heart disease, heart attacks. That's also, guys, I've talked a lot about toxins lately, and anytime you have a greater amount of visceral adipose tissue, you have a significantly greater capacity to carry chemicals and to store these environmental chemicals that we're all subjected to. And you can just bioaccumulate them significantly with that visceral adipose tissue, that increased VAT or visceral adipose tissue. So the crazy thing is, think about this. All these hormonal problems, it's like what comes first, one thing, right? Like it's the chicken or the egg, but you start looking at all these hormonal problems and you think, and you see that there's this increased body fat, and you realize that there's an increased capacity to carry and store toxins. Those toxins are also diabetogenic, obesogenic. They promote all of these issues. Go Reed. My son's just learning to dive. It's awesome. He's getting the hang of it, and it's good that time. So many belly flops. It's crazy, but he's doing good. But you see this, and you see this increased abdominal obesity that's associated with hormonal problems, that's associated with blood sugar dysregulation, like these issues, like the man bod. That's all hormonal, guys. If your husband or your brother or your dad or someone, you see them taking that on, you've got to be careful in how you try to reach people, because I know I talk about this like it's second nature. A lot of you guys talk about this like it's second nature, but the reality is that so many people, and the majority of people in society, they're not exposed to the things that you and I are talking about. And that's really what the scary thing is because all of these things we're talking about, these hormonal dysregulation, the increase in abdominal body fat, that visceral adipose tissue, they all predispose us to cancers and everything else. So it's really critical that that you guys teach. Part of the stuff that I'm teaching you guys, I want you to share it with people. It doesn't matter if you share our videos, if you just share the message and try to help people and give them the right direction and guidance. It's really important because there's a lot of people suffering. And how many people are going to end up with some kind of, autoimmunity or cancer or whatnot that may have been, there could have been environmental triggers and things that we could have done to potentially help them. So we've got to spread the word and try to help people. So there are all these problems that are connected. The other thing is so I was thinking about a few different things. So I started a training in genomics, and it's really looking at your unique genetic blueprint and trying to understand the environmental factors that influence your expression of your genes. And we call that epigenetics, the environmental factors that turn the genes on or off. And I think this is I found a group, and I found someone that I think has really got this figured out, is leading the way, and I'm taking some classes from him, and because prior to this, I talked to you guys a little bit about genes, and a lot of you have had 23andMe done, and you've had some genetic SNPs and those types of things. And you think you've got MTHFR, and if there's a problem with that enzyme or something, or if you've got if you've got two copies of it, if it's the 677T or whatnot, then everybody freaks out and they think that that's absolutely the problem. Guys, that is a gene uniqueness. It's not a mutation, first of all. It's really, really important. It's not a mutation. It's a gene uniqueness. The other thing is that just because you have that SNP does not mean you're going to express that. It does not mean that. So you've got to be really careful in how you interpret your genetics. This group that I'm studying and training with, I'm going through actually a 16-week program, and there's some other in-depth stuff that I'm going to participate in. That's elective. Outside of that, is really looking at the individual's genetic blueprint and tailoring every aspect of their life, the epigenetic factors, the things that influence it, and optimizing. And so I walked through, it was kind of neat, I walked through some of the assessment and the thought process, the logic behind assessing these with a guy that started this educational group and company, and it was very insightful. So I'm excited to share that with you guys, and I want to share with you the last thing that was in the description, the deiodinase 2 single nucleotide polymorphism. Did you guys see it in the description? Hey buddy, what you doing? You gonna dive for us? So the DIA2 is a polymorphism. It's not a mutation. It's a SNP. And let's see if we catch Reed jumping in. Here's Reed. Pretty good. Pretty good. So the genetic. Good job, buddy. That polymorphism is responsible for conversion of T4 to T3 in the brain. And that's one of your deiodinases, which basically they remove one of the iodine from the molecule. So it takes T4 and makes it T3. And anyway, so that occurs in the brain. So people that have brain fog and they have more issues with their T3, T4 levels, but that's going to be in the brain. You're not going to measure it in the serum. They are, that could be a problem for you. And that's something that you would want to consider, but I'm telling you, this is something that you have to do as a very looking at the whole. You can't do this by just pulling out genetic SNPs and then going after those. If you have not addressed the right type of diet for you, which actually the genes, the genetics can help you to determine what's maybe more appropriate for that individual, whether it be weight loss resistance or just how are they most likely, is their body likely to thrive with diet. You can get some ideas from the genetics, but you cannot just go after these genes and these SNPs. I think it's a mistake to just try to do that first and just try to supplement, and especially you're looking at the cookbook, so to speak. You're not looking, the recipe's not actually being made. You're just looking at the cookbook with the genes. So the expression or the cooking or the making of the recipe is something that the environmental factors, they do that. Your genes, just because you have the polymorphism, does not mean that you're going to express it. And it doesn't mean that some of the other SNPs that we don't know are not compensating for it. So you've got to always start with the basics, guys. You've always got to nail down the diet. You've got to remove anything that's causing inflammation, whether it be food reactivity, whether it be chronic infections, whether it be environmental chemical reactivity. You've got to identify those things. If it's nutrient deficiencies, if there are anything like that going on, you have to address those things. No genetics are going to express themselves favorably with those problems. So yeah, it's something that I'm going to be doing a lot of and incorporating, because really what I'm trying to do with a lot of people now is our goal is not just on taking the sick and trying to help them be well. It's not just that. I want people to thrive, and I want them to achieve their greatest self. I want them to have the opportunity to be as healthy as they possibly can. And so what I'm doing is I'm really looking at this as a way to drive and improve human performance. I'm very interested in that for myself and for my family and for everyone. But the people that I work one-on-one with, that's where we're looking to go, is not just help the sick people to get well, but we want to address, listen guys, we want to address Hashimoto's, we want to address autoimmunity, and I know, but guys, we don't want to be that. We don't want that to be our life. You guys get where I'm saying? You don't want to identify, I have Hashimoto's your whole life. That's not what you want. Well, what we want to do, this is my philosophy, what we want to do is we want to get you as healthy as we possibly can, so that Hashimoto's becomes a thing of your past that you don't think about, that does not dictate and drive your life. It does not define you. Do you understand? That's what my goal is. I refuse to be defined by a label like that. I believe our body's in a state of adaptation when we have something like that. If we can improve and address these problems, then we can shift out of that adaptative state and really thrive. And that's really what this whole goal with looking at these genetics, these epigenetics, combining that and merging that with with everything that we currently do, I think is going to be, it's the future. It is absolutely the future. And I think it's how we're going to take people way above and beyond. I think it's the future of customized, personalized medicine, quite frankly. So I think that'll be really, really helpful. Hey, Randy, hope you're doing well, buddy. Hey, I saw your comment on YouTube. I don't really answer a lot of those. I just glanced at it. Now I didn't have a chance to answer, but I hope you're doing okay. Listen, don't lose hope, my friend. That was just sounded like it was just one thing that kind of threw you off there. So hang in there, buddy. See, guys, I'm reading some of the comments here. I got just a minute. Hey, buddy, what you want to do? You want to play? Can I tighten it up? Yeah. You want to say hi to everyone? No, you don't? You sure? Do you want me to tighten it up, really? So,
I'm not tightening it up.
Loosen it? Oh, so I just did the wrong thing. All right, try that. See if did I do it, or is it still the same? How you doing? Same or too tight? Okay, give it here. My son's goggles here. But anyway, I just want to share that with you guys today. Share a little bit of information with you on how you could, what I think is the future. And I want you guys to just stay positive and just know that if you focus on be positive, remind yourself every morning that you are healthy, you are vibrant, you are going to you are living and you are going to live the most amazing life. And you remind yourself that. If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch Bruce Lipton. He wrote a book called The Biology of Belief. I think it's a book. Fantastic. He's a stem cell biologist, and he explains a lot about how what you believe and what you think and what you perceive manifests in genetic expression. And it's not some kind of out there idea. The DNA does not determine us, my friends. It does not. The environment influences the DNA and the DNA expression. So anyway, I'm going to hop off here so I can get this straightened out for my son. But I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you got some good information from this. If you have other questions, fire away, post them here. I'm going to be doing some live streams, but I've been working so hard on a lot of other things that we're doing. And it's really easy to get spread thin if I do a whole bunch of live streams. I try my best to do one a day for you guys. And, we've got hundreds and hundreds of, probably 200 or 300 live stream videos on our videos tab. So guys, check it out. I mean, if you are searching for answers for your thyroid, you can go there and learn a tremendous amount. I mean, I've talked about every topic that I think I've mentioned except maybe I haven't talked about VAT, visceral adipose tissue, and maybe I haven't talked about the DAI, the deiodinase enzyme SNP. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Please post your questions, everything that you got down here, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See ya.